Quantum Kickflip is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Locally grown, community supported.
Previously on Quantum Kickflip.
The arborists have all gone to Prismatia to try and head off Miper. Then there's this extra-dimensional research lab that might hold the proof of what they did to Vestige, and then there's Miper headquarters itself, where one, you guys can get the proof out to everyone, and two, might be able to finally find out what's going on with Nick and everything there.
Miper is on their way to Empyrean to do to it what they did to Vestige. You want to stop them?
Savitri looks to Farnham and Alexandra, who both nod.
Go do what you do best. Be a bunch of assholes.
At any point in the run, you can mark one treble to invoke a flashback to this planning scene we're having now. So the terrain around you, this tiled grid that goes out in all directions, melts away, and suddenly you are surrounded by foliage. It is lush, it is green, and you immediately recognize where you are as the Golden Jungle, or an approximation of it.
Oh my god, you're in the Matrix.
Miper is a very hip, trendy company. So one of the things they have is a fitness center with a pool, and the pool is a cylinder of water that just runs through the center. It's like suspended above a courtyard.
Elliott sees a problem with that and is going to try and pull some swimsuits out of her Voidwear backpack.
One lone figure remains poised, looking on as the rest of his order leaps into the battle. The High Forester is waiting for something he prays will not come. There are a couple of mechanical figures in the distance.
Okay, Angus, it looks like we're gonna have to fight these guys. Look,
Angus pulls out his Negaray and fires.
Oh, yeah, right.
You hear voices approaching, and your attention is drawn over to one of these nearby floors. And you see, kind of walking along this outer hallway, a group of people wearing large, clearly labeled guest badges on lanyards. You also recognize the face of Lake's mom at the back of the crowd. Everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Kickflip, a Slug Blaster actual play podcast. My name is Robyn. I am your Slug Master and your host, and I am joined today by 5 of my best and funniest friends in the whole world, and they are going to introduce themselves for you now. I want you to introduce yourselves in the order of, I think this will become apparent based on what we're doing tonight and where y'all are at. Whose character is best at hide and seek? Let's go worst to best, and if you want to toss in your go-to hiding spot, feel free.
Hello. My name is Laena Anderson, and I play Angus Franklin. He is the Guts playbook with the skip mode runners, and if he was playing hide and seek, he would definitely just go outside and sit under the window and smoke a cigarette and just wait until someone looks outside.
Classic.
Hello, I am Liam. I play Lake Marzden. She is the Hearts playbook. She wields the reality cannon. And I think she's, probably not particularly good at hide and seek because she is very tall, as we have established, probably the second tallest member of Weird Gravity, only less so than Chester.
Not the glowing glitch, but the height is the problem.
I mean, lifetime games of hide and seek, right? You know, pre and post glitch.
Her game hasn't improved since the glitch.
Yeah.
My name is David Ray, and I play Chester Capone, who is the Grit playbook. And, Chester, A, doesn't usually need to hide, and B, is probably, as he's hiding, frequently, moving and breaking things that will just alert attention towards him. And he's like, shoot, dang it. Okay, no, wait, hold on. Yeah.
Very good. Our two stealthiest characters are at a standoff.
Hi, my name is Glenna. I play Elliott Buchanan. She is the Chill playbook. She has a Voidwear backpack, which is a backpack that connects to a pocket dimension, so of course she likes to hide inside her backpack, which worked for a while, but then people figured out that she was in the backpack, and so they just needed to look for the backpack, so it doesn't work as well, but still, you can hide a backpack in a pile of junk easier than you can hide a person, so, trade-offs. Did I mention that she's the Chill playbook?
I
Have
don't
now.
remember, but you have
I
now.
have now. She's also an aspiring singer-songwriter and plays guitar and has a band. And I like her.
And I'm Michael Vetsch, and I'm playing Nick Lowe, the Smarts Playbook. He's the anime-loving, sword-wielding adventure boy, and I think he'd be pretty good at hide-and-seek with the ability to become a ghost, to walk through walls, to teleport places. His best hiding place is everywhere.
And as I mentioned, I'm Robyn. I'm your host and your slug master, and I guess this puts me at the end of the order. I think I'm pretty good at hide and seek, and if you disagree, try and find me. You can't.
It's
No.
never been done.
I love how there was like a debate where there was a rush to the bottom of that pile of like, no, I'm worse.
That says a lot about your crew, I think. Mm-hmm. Speaking of your crew, you're in. You guys are in some precarious places. When last we left you off at the end of last episode, you were launching a two-pronged assault on Miper. Half of you were going to their secret extra-dimensional research lab to go and try and recover Chester's armor, along with proof of Miper's wrongdoing in the past. While the other group was headed to Miper headquarters, seeking to find out more information about what Nick's dad had to do with this whole situation, as well as trying to find a way to get this proof out to everyone and to sort of broadcast their findings to the entire Miper network. I am on the edge of my seat to find out what happens. Y'all ready to play some Slug Blaster?
Let's go!
Yeah.
Let's do it. So I want to start this session not with either of our teams of characters in their separate locations, but back where we started everything, under the bleachers, planning this heist with Juniper Jenkins. I want to flash back to that moment when you guys were laying out your plans. So you're all there underneath the bleachers. Juniper has laid out. She's got coil-bound notebooks and graph paper, and she's underlined sections of Tristan Voss's autobiography, and has printed out some stuff from the internet and stuff, and she's going through and kind of giving you guys a lay of the land. And she says, now, I think if your main goal, if the other team does their job and gets Chester's armor back, then you guys are going to need a way to get that information out to, well, everyone. I mean, if you just put it up on your My Page, only people who follow your My Page are going to see it, and Miper can just pull it down. They control the entire network, so you're going to have to find a way to get it out to everyone instantaneously in a way where even if they try to stifle it, it'll be too late. And I think I've figured out exactly how you can do that. And she lays out a paper with some information on it and says, you guys are going to need to access the mother console.
Angus taps his toe. Wait, did I hear that right? Mother console?
What? Mother? Who's mother? What? Whose mom's here?
Angus instinctively looks over his shoulder.
It's the main oversight transmitter hub and emergency relay. It's see they if they need to update the entire network or the system all at once, they have a separate terminal with a unidirectional connection. It only sends out so that way no one can hack in remotely and tamper with Miper's entire network. It would be catastrophic. So anytime they need to send out a patch or an update or something that affects every Miper device on the entire network, they use this main hub that you have to physically be present at in order to operate, and it's the only way to send out something simultaneously to every device. It's a security feature, but I think if you guys can get to it, then that's exactly what you need, right?
So where is it?
That's where things get complicated. It's located inside of Tristan's private office, which is already pretty locked down at the best of times. You'd need Tristan's personal M phone that she carries with her in order to get through the door, and that's just the physical lock. There's also bound to be people around who are going to wonder what you're doing there. But yeah, it's locked down pretty tight, and I as far as I can tell, the only way in is with Tristan's personal M phone.
Well, and I mean, I don't even know how to find Tristan's mother.
Chester, it's not literally. It's an acronym. I said what the acronym stood for.
Oh, but you said it really fast, and that doesn't help.
It's okay. You're on the other team. It doesn't matter. It's just they'll tell you where to go.
If we can get there, I think I might be able to get the phone.
Well, incredible. Here's hoping you're right.
And I'm banking on my ability to just get us in. So glad Elliott has a plan.
Juniper, you mentioned that from this mother console we'd be able to broadcast out. Do you think there's any chance that we could, I don't know, also access the rest of Miper's social media accounts?
You mean like post something to their pages?
Yeah, if we can get the right information, there might be a way that we can make it look like Miper's telling on themselves.
I hadn't even considered that. That's brilliant. It would be, they wouldn't even be able to trace it to you. Yeah, I think that's probably possible. I mean, the whole thing is it's unidirectional. No one can get in remotely, but as long as you're there at the terminal, you should be able to send out information via any channel you decide. Nick, that's brilliant.
Well, I don't know if I'd be able to look through the systems well enough, but see, Jennifer, I've had a little work in progress going here. Can I invoke, it's been a while since I've used this, one of my other gear, a work in progress from the Smarts Playbook.
Yeah.
And I want to pull out both my dad's old Drow laptop and something that I've built similarly that would act as like a remote patch-in for that.
Okay.
So if we were able to get the remote piece that I have connected to the system, Juniper could actually be one to do some of the actual more intense hacking and computer interfacing like she was doing at the Drow facility back on New Year's, things like that, stuff that Nick might not be as intuitive as, or just like she outclasses him in this. She clearly does.
Oh, dope. So she would be able to give you guys a hand remotely. I love that. Yeah, you can absolutely invoke that.
Sweet.
Oh, hopefully there's a long enough extension cord to plug in the laptop up behind the bleachers here, but this would get you in, and Gosh, I think you give us a better chance than I do if we're up at the console there.
I mean, I'll try my best. Now, I know you're also looking for info about your dad, and that's the one place where the mother console isn't going to help. It's meant to, send out updates and access the network, so they don't keep sensitive information on it. They don't really keep much of anything on it because, it could easily get sent out to all devices. You guys are, if you get the proof from Chester's armor, you're going to have to like hardwire into the system. But as far as finding info about your dad and any secret files that Miper might have, I mean, that was harder for me to find. They don't exactly broadcast where they keep their secrets, but I have to imagine that holding Tristan's personal M phone and standing inside Tristan's personal private office, that those are the first two places I'd check. So
No, that makes sense. It's in there somewhere.
I mean, and if you happen to run into Tristan's mother, she probably knows what's going on.
I mean, I imagine she's probably long dead, Chester. We've already had this whole conversation about how Tristan's actually a lot older than you all seem to just kind of assume that she was.
Because she bathes in the blood of virgins. Yes, we've been over this.
Based on no canonical information given to you by any kind of higher GM authority of any kind, you all just kind of made an assumption about her age, and then it made for a weird continuity thing. But yeah, we've already been over this.
No one's bitter, though.
I mean, to be fair, I'm just trying to participate, and I'm just listening as hard as I can.
No, we appreciate you, Chester, but you gotta get your head screwed on for Dimension M, my dude.
Oh yeah, who knows what's there?
Yeah, and Juniper kind of rifles through her notes and is like, yeah, the thing about that is, and then she just sort of sets the notebooks down and is like, I'm sorry, guys, there's nothing about that. Whatever you're heading into here, it's a total blind spot. I'm afraid you're just going to have to think on your feet. And with that, I want to go catch up with Angus and Chester.
Yes.
So Chester and Angus, you just watched a Hyper Hornet explode into goo, and beyond it in the distance there are two Miper robots with heavy artillery looking directly in your vicinity. You're in what you have determined to be a simulation of the Golden Jungle. Your surroundings appear to be the Golden Jungle, but you saw before they loaded that it was like a tile map and a big grid. You haven't got a great lay of the land from that view. It was really hard to kind of discern what was where because everything just looked like tiles. But you are aware that you're inside some sort of a training protocol simulation facility thing, and you are being faced down by 2 Miper robots who are advancing towards you. What do you do?
Shoot it. I shoot it.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think at the start we're just gonna fight.
That makes sense. Let's set up a progress track for you guys. You're trying to fight these robots, and I'm assuming the larger goal is to like get out of this simulation and go find the armor. Yeah.
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 And you guys determined last time that you're in sort of a like a holographic reality that's like it's not really real, but it's real in your mind. Kind of like a sort of a Matrix, like the movie The Matrix, like the Matrix from the movie The Matrix. So I think for this, your progress track to get out of this Matrix that you find yourself in is going to be simulation.
No, Matrix is so much shorter.
Yeah, well, it's the finale. There's got to be stakes, baby.
Could I pitch that actually simulacrum, not simulation? But,
I think
same number of letters. I'll allow it. Whatever you want.
I don't know if there's as many vowels in that word.
That's true, and you have to buy the vowels. That's important.
oh no, our in-game Slug Blaster currency.
The vowel buying system. So that's the first time that we have filled up the entire progress track with letters. That's as many. That's the longest word it lets you do in our digital playbooks. So have fun, gang. Keep in mind you can spend kick to take out more than one spot on the track. Yeah, let's get some rolls and some offers.
All right. Angus is on his hoverboard. Negare came out the moment he saw the Hyper Hornet, so he's ready to go. I'm going to add a die and a kick from my guts, and I'm going to try to look cool. He's going to try and shoot in the middle of an ollie. Doesn't go well for him because I rolled a 3.
Oh, boy. Angus, which one were you trying to fire on? There was sort of a humanoid-looking, robot man, and then one that was more like insectoid flying creature looking.
I think he would instinctively go for the bigger target, so probably the humanoid-looking one.
Yeah. You raise your Negare, and you fire, and you've been amped for this run. You've been excited to finally be able to give Miper hell and to not have to hide or fake it anymore, that you get to just sort of unleash upon, and especially because you're on the combat mission here. You raise your Negare and you're sure you've got this thing dead in your sights, and you fire off a blast, but it doesn't connect. As you watch this thing sort of it's running towards you, and it flickers and statics out, and as your shot goes through, it disappears but then reappears a moment later, looking uncannily like your own teleportation ability of your skip mode runners.
Uh-oh.
And it comes directly towards you, and I think we're gonna hit you with a slam right out of the gate here. It's going to use its big, hefty robot fist and it just punches you. It decks you in the face.
I mean, he's got skip mode abilities, I got skip mode abilities. I'm gonna Mark 1 boost to use my chrono clip and avoid the slam. He also glitches out and reappears just behind this robot, not through teleportation, but by jumping ahead in the time stream just a little bit. You can't go very far with these skip modes. And then Angus will just turn around and fire at its back again.
All right, we'll see how that plays out in a moment, but I want to check in with Chester.
So Chester starts moving forward, quickly dials in on his forearmor to use the tracer bugs that kind of will zap him a little bit. Fires a few of them out, hoping to stun them, and then engages the heavy-duty servos to jump up, grab the bug by the head, and then fall to the ground, slamming him into the ground as he goes in some sort of, Capone cutter is what I'm going to call it. Just grabbing him down this way out of nowhere. And I mean, wrestling people would be like, isn't that just an RKO? No. You have to take that from the parts unknown region of France in order to do that. This is just a Capone cutter instead. So
you're doing the weapon systems and the heavy duty servos. Is that right?
That's correct. Both of them.
So I'm going to give you an option here. I think you either need to roll for each thing that you're using, for each thing that you're doing. Like, we're going to either need 2 rolls or 1 roll with some kick on it. But then it's a pass-fail for both of those. So you tell me how you want to divide this up, but I feel like it's going to take either a kick or 2 rolls.
Okay, I'm going to do 2 separate rolls. I'm going to use an extra die from the armor for the sake of the bugs that come out. And then an extra die for the second attack, and that's the Capone cutter, because that involves actually fighting. So, the first attack, the highest roll is a 4, and the mixed success, and the second is a 6. So the Capone cutter is perfect. The tracer bugs, there might be a problem.
Yeah, and remind me here, you're Capone cutting the flying one and tracer
That's
bugging the walking one. Okay.
Oh, well, I was doing it on both. I was targeting the tracer bug to try to stun him, hopefully, and make my Capone cutter work better. I was focusing on one creature.
Oh, so it's all focused on one. I see.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So you fire out this swarm of are they tracer bugs or taser bugs? I think we've said both.
I've said tracer all today, but that's because I forgot the word taser.
I'm gonna call them taser bugs.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fully on me for that one. Yes.
So you send up this swarm of taser bugs. It's a mixed success, so it makes contact. We're gonna add 1 to your progress track here. You have damaged this flying robot successfully, and I think as you intended here, it's sort of softened this thing up a little bit, which helps to explain why your subsequent maneuver is going to go off so flawlessly. But we need a complication for that mixed success, and I think what it is, you watch as this flying robot gets zapped by these taser bugs. It's clearly not happy to have been zapped by these, but then you see it sort of send out a pulse of its own, and those taser bugs, maybe they have a little light on each of them that goes from green to red. Maybe it's nothing quite so on the nose, but you see them all instantaneously whip around and start heading back towards Angus. And this thing has successfully reprogrammed your taser bugs to attack your own party. So Angus, you're going to have something to deal with in a second here.
Mm-hmm. But then I do grab the bug and slam him down, kind of a thing. Although my taser bugs are off doing something.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So that's your complication, but you follow through with your initial maneuver and describe to me what this Capone cutter looks like, because it is a complete success.
So just imagine, like, I'm seeing this flying bug robot to be somewhat like a bee. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think we said like cross between a hornet and a helicopter.
Yes. So Chester jumps up, grabs it by the head. Chester kind of like lays out with his back to the ground and just engages the heavy-duty servos to pull him down. And Chester lands on his back, crashing with the bug beside him, and Chester rolls out of it and is waiting to like go after the robot afterwards, as he sees all my taser bugs go after Angus and just like, oh.
So Angus, you go to shoot this thing in the back, but you are distracted by this swarm of taser bugs headed towards you. I realize that you tried to look cool on your last roll, and that's supposed to make consequences worse. Yes. You've avoided your slam, but you are threatened. But would be unfair not to give you a moment to react here. What's Angus's play?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna run up a tree and shoot them.
Yeah. As established many times at this point, you don't need to roll to walk up walls, so you're able to do that, but we are going to need a roll to see how well this entire offer goes for you.
I want style is the thing. So I'm gonna try to look cool again, and I'm gonna remember this time that I have show off, and I get plus 1d6 when I try to look cool.
There you go.
And I'm going to add a die from my skip modes. So I'm rolling 3d6. There's a 6.
Beautiful. Perfect success. You're taking out these. We're going to mark the progress track. Tell me how you obliterate these taser bugs.
Ooh, I appreciate that this is marking the progress track. I was worried that it wouldn't because it was technically our weapon. But no, I am very good with that. I think Angus is actually going to hang close to the tree for as long as he can. He sees them closing in, and he's not going to run up just yet. And he waits, and then right near the last moment, he hops off his hoverboard, uses a combination of his anti-nega friction outsoles and his powered midsoles to race up this tree lightning fast. And I imagine all the taser bugs kind of crash into the tree like and that's when he just like starts firing.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, these things explode. I wanna throw this to Chester and be honest here. Did you have a set number of taser bugs, or how does this work? Like, you know what? I think it would be unfair to take your weapon systems fully offline because Angus has destroyed your taser bugs. I think, on the other hand, it's more just there's the constant threat that, like, you now know that these Miper bots can potentially reprogram your go-to weapon system. It's less of a, like, you can't use it, and more like, do you want to risk using it? I like that as the sort of complication going forward.
Sure.
But yeah, you obliterate these bugs. You have made a dent in one of these two robots, but they're both still coming for you.
Angus, oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't even mean to. I didn't think that the bugs could be just taken over like that. Man.
Good for us to know, I guess.
I mean, if they can hack into us, doesn't it make sense that
We can hack them.
Yeah.
Yeah!
And Chester, trying to, like, look around, trying to be receptive to any possible avenues to, like, how can I possibly, as he, maybe he continues trying to fight the bug in front of him, but,
Yeah, I love that offer. We're gonna leave you guys in that moment of realization and give me time to think about how to pay that off. But yes, Chester's scanning for some way to hack in, as you guys have realized that if they can use your tricks back on you, you might be able to use their tricks back on them. But let's go check in with the HQDs.
Yeah, Lake is toweling off. I think we've just sort of grabbed a pile of complimentary towels.
Yeah, you guys have just emerged from that cylindric pool running horizontal through the center of this atrium. You're on kind of a catwalk above it, I think is how he described it. Like there's ladders going from the top of the cylinder up to a catwalk so that you can get out and towel off and do your thing. And you've noticed that on one of the nearby levels that there is a tour group walking by, emblazoned with the Doorways logo and featuring one Molly Marzden.
So you say emblazoned with the Doorways logo, and I just think that they've all been branded.
Yeah, I phrased that weirdly. They're wearing Doorways t-shirts and swag, a lot of windbreakers, some fanny packs.
A visor?
Oh, a visor for sure. There's some visors in the mix.
Molly's wearing a visor.
one person is branded fully into their flesh like with a hot iron.
Oh my god.
But it's like a tramp stamp, so you don't see it all the time.
Yeah. It's just peeking out the bottom of the back of the shirt.
Yeah. So then Lake finishes drying off, and as the towel comes down over her face and she opens her eyes, she sees her mom, gasps, and, turns 180 degrees to hide behind a wall. Elliott, Nick, get down.
Whoa, did you know your mom was going to be here?
No, I did not know my mom was going to be here because we are not really talking right now. We're just letting each other do whatever we want, and that has not clearly come back to bite me in the ass.
Like, under the towels. Here, under my towel. Elliott, put your towel on top. Towel on top of Lake.
As you lay the towel over top of Lake, it takes on Lake's glitch from outside and lights up in multicolored glitched out static.
Yeah, no, this isn't going to work. We just need to be, whatever it is we're doing, it needs to be as far away from that tour group as possible. Can I get a lay of, like, kind of what route they're taking? Because you described this as, like, an atrium, so I imagine all the, like, the walkways are essentially around the perimeter. Right?
Yes, exactly. And so they're on let's say the second floor, like the first sort of upper level. And I think they're more or less level with you. Maybe you're a little bit up from them. But you've got a sort of a clear line of sight to them, which means they also have a pretty unobstructed line of sight to you. There are further floors higher up, but I think you can tell that like where the lower levels are very open air, like they look right out into the atrium and seem like you can see stairways connecting some of the lower levels. At a certain point, those stairways stop, and you realize that like the upper levels are more glassed in, and you get the sense that maybe the executive floors are something that you would need to access via elevator and maybe have some level of security clearance or at least an appointment to be there. And then below you on the ground level is sort of an open courtyard where you see people just kind of making their way back and forth, hurriedly heading back from lunch breaks and back into the workstations and stuff. I'll throw in one more detail. I think on the main floor, you see like what is clearly a restaurant where like, employees can go on a lunch break. But like it's along one edge of this courtyard. But like where the opening is to like enter into the restaurant, you can see like the lighting is completely different, and as you look, like something seems off in an uncanny way at first, where you just like can't quite put your finger on like what looks weird about that restaurant. And the longer you look at it, you realize that the entire opening is like a portal, and it's like a Greek restaurant, but it looks like there's just a portal to Greece in that stall, where you can go and eat authentic Greek food on your lunch break and then step back through the portal and head back to work.
Incredible.
Is it specifically to this Greek restaurant every time, or does it like the menu changes up day to day and it goes
I
to a
think
different
you
portal?
can alternate what country it goes to. Like, Taco Tuesdays, the portal leads to Mexico for authentic street food. It leads to a Mexican street where you can get street food.
Very good. Sorry about the towel, like, sorry, I feel like wherever we ended up porting in, we need to get higher. Remember when we were up in Tristan's office, it definitely had a view, so it couldn't have been on the lower floors.
Yeah, no, let's not spend any more time down here. And then she's like realizes she's wearing a full bathing suit, reaches into Elliott's bag, pulls out her overalls and t-shirt, and just sort of wears her bathing suit as underwear. We don't have time to go change again. You all do as you please, but
I mean, our clothes are also soaking wet because we portaled right into the pool.
I mean, you got a reality canon that can do something about that.
God, jeez. Yeah, like starts putting on the t-shirt, realizes like, wet jeans, right?
Yeah.
Like wet.
Let's make our way to a stairwell and maybe try and dry off.
Yeah, stairwell first, drying second. We definitely won't leave wet footprints away. And Lake leads the charge, trying to go find the next closest stairwell, or elevator, or I don't know, teleportation uppies, whatever.
That makes total sense. I'm going to give you guys that you can sort of scamper to a stairwell and regroup. I'm not going to make you roll to sort of duck away and change clothing here. I am going to say that as you make your way over, you can sort of like, as you move along this catwalk, you get a sense of the lay of the land a little more. And I think you can see where there appears to be like fancy looking elevators that might take you where you need to go. It is on the same level as the Doorways tour group, and sort of they are between you and it. But you, for the time being, you find a stairwell that you can sort of duck into, and you tell me what you do next.
And these, I just want to, I don't want to like gotcha or anything, but we're in a stairwell. There's no stairs leading up in lieu of these elevators?
There are,
Like this stairwell will go up a couple floors, but not as high as the elevator would.
Exactly, yeah. This stairwell will lead you down to the main floor or up to 3 or 4. But at a certain point, the stairwell cuts off, and you're gonna need to at some point take that executive elevator.
Well, let's not take the elevator on the floor the tour group's on. And Lake starts scampering up the stairs.
Wait, Lake, I just changed. Can you dry us off?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm wet too. Right. This. Okay, yeah, I guess concept inverter. Let's turn literally in the example. Something might go from dry to wet or wet to dry is the example in the ability for concept inverter.
Doing it by the book.
I will add a kick to get all 3 of us, and I will add 1 extra die.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have any team hype?
We should have all our
Probably.
hype.
Yeah, we got all but 1. Someone used 1 last round. So I'm gonna roll 3 to dry us off.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, as I love the offer of marking a kick to get the 3 of you. It's such a I don't want to make you burn a resource just to dry off. It's such a cosmetic difference that feels mean. Use as many dice as you want, but save your kick. You'll need it later.
Sweet. 3 kick or 3 dice. 4.
Mixed success. How do I mix this success?
Okay. So we are dry.
Yes. So you target the 3 of you with your reality cannon, using the concept inverted to turn you from wet to dry. You are able to do that. It's a success after all. You are all back in your street clothes. This weird poolside quest is over. You're back in your classic looks, ready for action. I'm gonna remember the way that Slug Blaster works, which is that the complication doesn't always have to come from the thing you're directly trying to do. A complication is just a complication, and it can take many forms. As I think you hear the sound of that tour group getting closer to the doorway behind you, and you realize, like, oh, the doorways people are in the doorway. They're coming to this stairwell, and are hot on your heels here.
Not to play dress up, but I have an idea. And I want to roll to pull some doorways and blazoned t-shirts from my backpack.
Nice.
Chill rolls with 2 every time, and then I will mark a die from the backpack so that we can blend in with the tour group, which might work as long as we don't say anything.
Sure.
That's a 6, and I also rolled doubles, and the doubles were 1s, so that was very exciting for me.
Huge.
Fantastic. Mark your style for the doubles, and you are able to pull exactly what you're looking for. You grab some doorways paraphernalia. I'll give you their specifically doorways hoodies, so you can even get the hood up and kind of shield your face a little bit. This is a complete success. I'm not trying to throw a complication on you here. This is just established canon that I feel needs to be addressed. As soon as Lake puts on that hoodie, it takes on Lake's glitch. That's something that you're not going to avoid with any outfit change. Not saying that your plan doesn't work as a result of that. Just reminding everyone of the lore we've developed here.
Can I make a roll and put some kick on it to try and spread my astral phasing beyond just me to everyone else? In terms of becoming more ghostly, and maybe we can just sort of stay to the side and then rematerialize at the back of the group?
No, but we got these great hoodies.
Yeah, but I'm saying the hoodies will help us blend in if other people see us with the group, but we don't have to be at the front of the group where your mom can see your glitch.
Ah, yes. I like that, yeah.
Nice. Okay, I will do that, and I said I was going to throw a kick on it because there are multiple of us.
Yeah, this one feels higher stakes. I would like to get some kick for that one, yeah.
Do you need multiple, or is one enough?
No, you're good. You're good with one, but I just I had just said oh, don't worry about marking kick for drying all of you, but drying your clothes off cosmetically is one thing. This has stakes, so I like throwing a kick on this.
And I'll throw on a die from my Rift Ninjas. Am I allowed to use a hype die as well?
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
Sweet. All right. 3d6 with a kick. And away we go. 6.
Beautiful. I don't know how this works, because last time we described it as linking your cable up to Angus's shoes, but these guys don't have shoe-based abilities, so maybe it's just each of them takes your hand and you try and spread it out across the 3 of you. You tell me how this works. It's a complete success.
I think, awkwardly enough, Nick is just get down and hug onto my shins. And they both have to kind of crouch and hold onto each one of his legs so that as the Rift Ninjas kick up and sort of the phasing spreads from the shoes upward over him, it also covers them as it sort of fades them out.
I love that. Yeah, you duck behind, because this isn't like complete invisibility. It's just like sort of intangibility and sort of stealthiness. So I think you still do kind of duck to one side and kind of like off in a corner.
They were like behind where the door opens into the stairwell.
Yeah, and I think the door even like as it flies open, it like passes through you, like a little bit of you sticks out the other side of the door, but nobody notices. But it just like, you're kind of standing not in the doorway, but literally standing in the door going through you as this tour group moves in.
And so the tour group begins taking the stairs, and we're just gonna like stay where we are and rejoin the tail end. Yeah, that's sick.
So the group begins making their way up the stairs, and you can hear sort of an enthusiastic voice at the front of the crowd saying, "Oh, we so appreciate this chance to see what it is you do here, because we're very concerned about the children. You understand, I'm sure. The children are our most precious resources, so we have to make sure we're protecting the children." And you hear another voice respond. You recognize a sort of like beleaguered-looking Miper employee. Like, yes, of course. I mean, we all love the children. That we're concerned about the children. Yes, that's. Anyways, if you'll just follow me upstairs, I'll lead you to the next stop on the tour here. Oh, yes, it's very nice of you to be so cooperative. You know, some groups can get awfully combative with our organization, but let me tell you, it doesn't work out too well for them. No, they underestimate us at your peril. And she's like, yeah, no, we're not underestimating with you. We want to work with you. It's fine. Just please follow me, and we'll get to the next stop. Oh no, I just appreciate it. And they kind of trail off as they head upstairs. You see Lake's mom is sort of further towards the back of the group, but you do see her pass by, and you watch as the last few people start making their way up the stairs. Do you follow?
Yes.
I think as we phase back in and join the end of this tour group, Lake's just like, "The hell is my mom doing here? I feel like I can't stay low key, but I want to see where this goes. How about you guys?"
I guess there's a chance if we just follow along, they might go right by the elevators.
Elliott?
Yeah, totally. Let's see what's up.
We can always peel away if it gets too drastic. And then Lake sort of starts going up the stairs, but with her right like sideways, so that her right half is sort of hidden behind her left half.
Very good.
And like sideways, like crab walking up the stairs behind this tour group. Just
Strafing.
Yeah. Annoyed that her mom is here and wants to see where this goes.
Beautiful. You follow the tour group up the stairs, and I think that's the perfect time to go check in on Dimension M. So Chester, when we last left you, you were invoking your receptive ability to try and find any sort of weak point on these robots, anything that you could potentially use as a way to hack in and turn the tide of this battle, much the way that they hacked your tech. You want to hack their tech. So you're scanning these robots and you're trying to find any sort of like a data port or a panel that could be removed or something. And they're just like they're fully armored, and you just can't seem to find anywhere. Like, it looks like they might even be either remote controlled or some sort of AI. There doesn't seem to be any sort of mechanism or even like a port to hack into. And you're trying your hardest to notice any sort of detail there, and you just can't seem to. And you sort of frustratedly lean back and put a hand out against a tree. And as you do, you realize that the tree is like part of this constructed environment. It's one of the pillars that you saw before everything like took on the hologram. And you've rested your hand against place in the bark of the tree where you notice like there's a seam in the bark. There's like a rectangular seam, almost like a cover or a panel of some kind on the bark of this tree that otherwise looks like bark, but there's clearly like there's a seam here, and that's what you notice with your receptive ability.
So it's like the illusion or whatever of the virtual world is cannot fully hide this physical thing.
Yeah.
So I try to like open up the bark or whatever and to see if it reveals anything.
Yeah, underneath you do see some wiring and some ports. I don't think you, Chester, know what to do with this necessarily,
No.
but you found an access point into the sort of guts of this simulation room that you are in. And you might just have someone with you who is canonically and mechanically good at tinkering with electronics in a way that has like in-game mechanical advantages.
Oh yeah. Like Chester like looks over and the camera pans back, like back from his vision to reveal Angus. I look over at him and Angus, come here. There's a port here. It's. I think it's an actual like thing where we can hack into.
Yeah. Angus will. He's up a tree right now. Chester's at the base of another tree. Maybe he'll like grappling hook himself back down.
Oh, I love that.
I'll cover you. You get a handle on this. And
Oh yeah, he's shooting as he goes too. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get a roll for like Angus. I assume you're gonna try and hack into this system.
Oh yeah, fam.
Beautiful. I want to roll for that, and then I also want to roll for like the offensive maneuver that you're doing here. So let's get Chester to roll for like covering Angus and damaging the robots. Angus might be involved in that process too, like you're both firing, but let's get Chester to roll for that one, and Angus, you can roll for the hack into the system here, which like, you know, Chester's involved there. He helped you find the panel, but we'll get one of you to roll for one and one of you to roll for the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think I'm going to sacrifice my body for this to get an extra couple of D6s. I will take a slam from this.
Okay.
Because, I need to protect my boy. So I'm just doing everything I can to fight anything that draws near. So, like, I'm kind of like a defenseman in front of this port. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to necessarily do a ranged thing, but anything that draws near, I'm just punching, I'm kicking, I'm throwing things, whatever it is. And fortunately, from those die, I get a 6.
All right, complete success. So Chester, yeah, you take your position. Angus is grappling hooking himself over to this panel that you found, and you kind of post up in front of him, ready to fend off these robots. You're going to take a slam from this because of the invalidity you evoked. So even though this is a success, we're going to mark your progress track. You are doing damage to these things, but I think I know how you get your slam. As they are advancing towards you, you've got your arms up, boxer stance, trying to fend them off. If they get in too close, you give them a shove with the heavy-duty servos, that sort of thing. I think at one point you maybe engage your danger arc to try and actually blast one of them.
Yep.
And as you do that, I think it's the more humanoid-looking one, you go to give it a blast with the danger arc, and it suddenly is encased in a glowing bubble that looks uncannily like your own force field, which reflects the shot directly back at you. And I think we're going to give you the slam. That's where you take your slam, is that your own danger arc is refracted back at you. What do we call that? I'm trying to think of a cool danger pun, but I can't.
Danger zone. No.
Let's get dangerous. That's nothing.
We'll just go with blasted. You got shot. You got shot with a blaster. You're blasted.
Yeah. It's definitely better than ours. Good call.
Yeah, you feel this shot refract back, and it kind of catches you in the shoulder and leaves a scorch on your armor. And you know that you're gonna feel that after the run is through, as one of your slam boxes is now filled. But you are able to successfully fend them off and even put in a few dents. We've marked another spot. SIMU is gone. Lation is all that's left. Angus, let's get a roll for this attempt to hack the system.
Yeah.
I do want to offer something to Angus. As like I'm fighting these things, I want to turn to Angus. It's just like, remember your training. Now, to Angus, this may not seem apparent that there was any training at all. However, when Angus was staying with Chester over the course of that period over Christmas or whatever, Angus starts remembering all of the classic films that involve hacking that he watched with Chester. Stuff like Hackers, The Matrix, Seen episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation where they had the holodeck, Sneakers, Tron, The Net with Sandra Bullock, Johnny Mnemonic, Westworld from 1973. Yes, there was a movie back then. That was the one they watched. War Games with Matthew Broderick, where all the things were controlled by the internet somehow. The Lawnmower Man, Office Space, Lawnmower Man Part 2, Beyond Cyberspace.
3 more.
The 13th Floor from 1999. That was a little bit more recent. Just came on VHS just in time. Frankly, that's all of them. I did a little bit of
with you. That's fine. That's plenty. Where are you going with this?
Well, this was all a montage. It was just a montage that's just flooding back to Angus because what if this is not Quantum Kickflip without a Chester montage? But this time, it has Angus in it as they watch a bunch of dumb movies.
I see.
So I guess because we're using that flashback mechanic, I'm going to take the trouble on that. It was one point of trouble.
Jesus.
I was really you're taking Lena's turn, but you're using the flashback thing. Sweet.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah.
It was supposed to be technically a flashback to that specific planning scene, but I love this too much, so sure. Mark your trouble, and Laena, you've got an extra die or kick to use as you see fit on this hack attempt.
Oh my god, okay.
Chester was 800 moves ahead on this chess game.
By accident. Yeah.
Yes, okay. All of those memories come flooding back to Angus of all the many, many, many movies. I don't know if we had established how long Angus stayed with Chester. I feel like it would have been 2, maybe 3 weeks tops.
And every night was movie night.
Movies. Yeah, every night was movie night. Every single night. And if it was Saturday, it was a double feature.
Yeah. And anytime a really cool hack happened, Chester looked over at Angus like, huh? Wasn't that cool? And that's what's imprinting on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna rip out a bunch of wires.
Okay. That's a way to go with it, sure.
So many montage shots of clicking keyboards and everything just zooming by and then just yank.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I have an extra die, I think. I'm Jesus. I'm gonna mark 3 kick.
Perfect.
I want to take a big chunk out of this progress track, and I have a funny feeling that I'm not gonna fail. Oh, I want to look cool. I'm 3d6 3 kick.
Okay.
2!
No!
I rolled a 2, but I have raw talent.
Which is?
You've always just been really good at tinkering with electronics. If this would help you with an action, you can mark 1 trouble to upgrade a 1 to 3 result into a 4 to 5 result.
Harrowing.
Oh my god.
Apparently watching a bunch of movies is not the same as learning how to use computers.
Oh, but Angus will look over his shoulder at you and say, I'm in!
All right, that's beautiful. You put how much kick on that?
3.
So a normal success would be marking 1 spot on the track and 3 kicks, so that's marking 4 spots. I'm doing that math right, correctly? Correct?
You're the GM, so yes, you are correct.
Yeah, okay. Oh boy, I love this. Here's what happens. You
Okay.
reach into this panel, you grab a fistful of wires and just yank them out. This sends out a shower of sparks. And you managed to yank your hand away in time. We're not giving you a slam here. You tried to look cool. The complication needs to be worse than that.
I was fully ready to get electrocuted.
Oh, no. It's got to be worse. I don't know what you were necessarily attempting to do. had you been hacking in, I would have gotten your intent of like, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to end the simulation? Are you trying to whatever? But you don't really get a say in that because you've just ripped a bunch of wires out. So I think what starts happening is that the holographic environment around you starts just channel flipping between different realities. So it's the Golden Jungle, and then it's Calorian, and then it's the Waking Pits. But it's only ever any of them for like seconds at a time. You're moving through. It's night, it's day, it's cold and freezing, it's hot and humid. It's almost like you're living through an actual montage. You have turned the environment around you into a montage that is happening to you now. I think the reason that this clears so much of the progress track is that every time it flickers between realities for just a second, you get a view of the unmodified room, and you're able to start to get your bearings, and you see an exit. There is a door. There are some robots between you and it, but you are able to sort of navigate your way through. It is very disorienting that every few seconds you're in a new, completely different world, but each time you get that glimpse, you're able to sort of chart your course a little clearer. So that's why it takes out so much. The complication here, I think this is too big of a play that you've made here for it to go unnoticed. And you hear that same voice that initially said, like, loading training simulation 6- whatever. You hear that same voice echoing over the speakers saying, intruders detected, self-destruct sequence initiated.
Oh.
And we're going to start a danger track here. Anytime we get a failure, it's going to mark the track of boom. You got 4 letters to get out of this dimension.
Good thing Angus said I love you in the last episode.
So that is your complication from this big success.
All right, let's go.
Hello, beloved listeners. It is your Slug Master Game Blaster podcaster here, as always, to thank you so very much for listening, even more than usual, because we're almost at the end of the season, and it's got me all misty and reflective and full of gratitude. So thank you. Thank you, damn it. And hey, if you want to recommend us to friends or leave us nice ratings or reviews on a podcast app of your choosing, I'll just be even more thankful next time. And what would that even look like, right? Can you imagine? Let's find out. We are at Quantum Kickflip on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, so be sure to follow us for new episode updates, memes, audiograms, and more. You can also subscribe to us on Patreon, where for just $5 a month, you can get early access to every new episode of Quantum Kickflip, as well as bi-weekly bonus content. We've got some really cool exclusives in honor of our finale, including more than one round of outtakes. We usually do one per run, but this run ended up being so long and so full of hilarious goofs that we're going to have to break it up into multiple outings, and I promise you don't want to miss any of them. I'd also like to thank our sponsors at the Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society, whose goal is to advocate, educate, and celebrate the media arts in Alberta. Check them out at amaas.ca. And finally, we are proud members of the Alberta Podcast Network, who have a ton of amazing, locally made shows over at albertapodcastnetwork.com. We release Quantum Kickflip bi-weekly, so you can catch the next chapter on Wednesday, July 20th, and then the final episode of Season 1 will drop on August 3rd. And hey, if you just can't wait to see what happens next, you can subscribe to our Patreon and hear new episodes 2 days early. Anyway, we are going to get you right back to the action here, but first I'm going to throw it over to the head of Doorways for some public service announcements. Hello, everybody. It's me, Jeffrey Glenn Gunderstack, the head of Doorways. I don't think my name's been said in the episode yet. I think that's maybe going to happen in a subsequent episode, which is a shame because it's a wonderful name. But that's a little spoiler for you. Looking ahead, Jeffrey Glenn Gunderstack's the name, and I'm here to just tell you a few quick public service announcements. Today's episode was brought to you by Park Power. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. If you switch providers, nothing changes about the delivery of these utilities to your home or business. If you have an existing contract, you're going to want to find out the terms before leaving. If you don't, then it's even easier to sign up for Park Power. You, as the consumer, have the choice of who you pay your bills to. Why not choose your friendly local utilities provider? Learn more at parkpower.ca. That's parkpower.ca. I don't know how I feel about this. Generally, I'm always in favor of more regulation. Too much choice, too much freedom can actually lead to some dangerous areas. Better to strip people of all their power and all their freedom and all their choice and just tell everyone exactly what to do and how to live, is my opinion. But I guess that's not a feeling that's shared by Park Power. So if you're one of these radicals who wants to support local and invest in your community, I guess maybe that's for you. Today's episode was also brought to you by Taproot Edmonton. Taproot publishes weekly roundups on a variety of topics, including food, tech, health innovation, arts, regional news, and business. Taproot gathers up the headlines and happenings on these files and delivers them to your inbox. You can get 1 or 2 for free, and if you want more, become a Taproot member. Then you can get as many as you want, plus other perks, for just $10 a month or $100 a year. Get informed at taprootedmonton.ca. That's taprootedmonton.ca. Now, this is wonderful. Being informed. I always say information is key. Knowledge is power. You have to be informed so that then you can take that information and limit how much of it you pass along to the children. You've got to have all the information so that you can control it and really control the people around you. That's my feeling. So if you're interested in being fully informed, taprootedmonton.ca. Can't recommend it enough. All right, I think that's about it for me. Let's get you folks back to the action. It says here, get you back to the action. What action are we talking about? That sounds dangerous. Excuse me, what action are we talking about here? What action? Sweat beads on the brow of the High Forester as he watches the carnage unfold. It is not caused by the tension alone. He can feel the temperature rising rapidly. He whirls around to see a second massive portal opening to the far side of the ring, glowing an ominous red and spewing forth steam and sparks. The High Forester curses under his breath. It's as he feared. A long serpentine creature emerges from the portal, covered in crystal scales, winding and twisting its way around and through the center of the ring. It screeches, its jaw opening into 3 sections, revealing rows and rows of long, needle-sharp teeth. Atop its head sits some sort of a metal apparatus with a small antenna and a single blinking red light. Miper has taken control of the Calorium Phase Dragon. No. The High Forester begins to run, reaching into the pocket of his robe for an orb. He launches himself upward, careening through the open sky, directly towards the dragon, which lets out an enormous, bone-shaking roar. So the headquarters strike team, you're making your way up the stairwell behind this group, and you head out onto the second floor, or I guess a third floor now. You came from the second floor. You head out onto the third floor. I think the entire time, there's like some light chatter amongst the doorways members as you move through and chatting about this and that. But the entire time you can hear that same voice from the front of the sort of group leader. It's a big voice and it echoes back the whole time. And you can hear that same voice saying, We're just very concerned, you understand, because I hope this was the voice I was doing a minute ago. I don't really remember. I think it's pretty close. I'm gonna go with it. We're just concerned because you see a lot of your products, whether you're designed, we're not trying to cast any blame here, but whether you intended for it or not, these children are using some of your devices in very unexpected and troubling ways. They're accessing alternate realities and tearing the very fabric of space-time. And as a parent, I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong. And you hear the other voice echo back. We understand that's a valid concern. And Miper wants to assure you that your children's safety is, of course, our number one priority. We're always working to make all of our devices and all of our software safer, more user friendly, but not only that, more parent friendly. We're pioneering. Here, the next stop on the tour. And you see them filing into a big conference room. Now, I'm gonna say the elevator. You can see that that same elevator has an exit on this floor as well. So there is big conference room that takes up like the entirety of one side of the atrium, and it is entirely glass walls along the one side. Like you can see into the conference room from the sort of hallway beside it. You see the Doorways group is filing into there to receive some sort of a presentation. On the far side of the conference room, at the other end of the far end of the hall, you can see that elevator. So your options here, as I see them, are continue on with this tour group into the conference room and try and listen in on what this presentation is all about. Try and make your way to the elevator, which will involve sneaking past the tour group and past this wall of windows. Or a third thing I haven't thought of.
As much as Lake wants to sort of see where her mom's going, what this is about, there's more than one familial relationship at play here, and I know we're trying to we're here on a mission, and if they're going to be sitting watching a presentation in this room, that's as good as they're less of a threat. So I hate to say it, I think I want to try to press on to the elevator. Lake says that, but in her voice to all of them. Elevator, gang, yeah?
Yeah. If you're all right with leaving Doorways here, I mean, we've got a straight shot over there.
Yeah, they looks like they're gonna get some boring presentation, like right up their alley. They'll be lapping this boring nonsense up. Let's go. They're distracted.
Yeah, definitely.
But you said we have to sneak past them, like kind of like someone will see that we are carrying on past the glass.
Yeah, exactly. Like this group that you're at the back of has now all filed into this conference room, and in order to get to the elevators, you have to walk directly past this big wall of glass windows.
I have my offer for how we can solve this. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go ahead and just change a minor feature, just the typical parameter dial. And I want to change this glass from translucent to opaque. I want to make it frosted glass. Just nice corporate frosted glass. And we're not here to mess around, so I think I'm going to use my middle finger on this one. Oh, because if it goes wrong, a wall of glass shatters, and so that's not like.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, okay. Like this is a complete success, so you're able to do what you're doing here, but I think you do still need to move quickly, because you fire off this lob shot, it frosts the glass, and immediately everyone in the room is like, hey, wasn't that glass transparent a moment ago? Since when is that frosted glass? What happened just now? Is that like a feature of the room? And the Miper lady is like, that is not a feature of the room. Hang on one moment. I need to go check something. And like red flags have been raised by the fact that you just transformed an entire wall of the room that they are all inside. But it's a complete success. And as long as you move quickly here, you are able to dart past.
Yeah. Are we like hopping on boards and like zooming on through?
Yeah. Well, let's zoom. Let's hoverboard to the elevator.
All right, go, go, go!
Yeah, you all take to your boards, and I think you kind of like, you're all crouched down quite low, doing the, like maybe you're even trailing a hand along the floor as you just zip past this conference room. And I think you take the corner at the end of the hall towards the elevators there, just as this Miper employee exits the room and goes looking around, and she just doesn't quite catch a glimpse of you. You come skidding to a stop next to this elevator. I think it's maybe like a little bit around a corner, just so that you're out of the way when this Miper employee pops her head out to look for you, because it was a complete success, and I don't think it's fair to have her spot you here. And I think you sort of lay low for just a second to make sure that she's not, coming directly towards you before you pop out to use this elevator. And you see her walk along the corridor there, and she approaches a big, friendly-looking robot that's just like roaming along the corridor. It's like humanoid in shape, like big cylindric body, and it's all covered in very shiny white metal plating. It's like almost plasticky and toy-like, very welcoming. Instead of a head, it's got a little like projected hologram that just hovers right above the shoulders, that shows like a smiling, friendly, artificially generated face. And you can see as it's walking along, it's like engaging with passersby in a pleasant tone and offering help and assistance. And on the chassis of this thing, several large silver letters emblazoned on the outer surface spell out the word "pal" in all caps. And you see this Miper employee walk up to this robot and kind of, you can't hear from where you are, but they have a muted conversation. You hear the friendly electronic tones of the robot and the sort of hushed whispers of the Miper employee. And you see that artificially smiling holographic face sort of like flicker and show some concern for just a moment. And then it sort of nods and starts making its way along the hallway, sort of scanning around, looking to presumably find some intruders. But it goes, again, complete success. It heads off in the opposite direction. And this woman makes her way back into the conference room. And you find yourselves at the elevator to the executive floor.
All right, well, executive floor. Part of me was hoping we'd stumble onto info about Nick's dad, but like Juniper said, we can probably find everything we need to know if we just get Tristan Voss's personal cell phone. The gravity of that is striking her. She says it out loud.
I think I can get it. I think.
Incredible.
I feel like if there's any stuff that might be about my dad, it could even be locked up on these higher floors anyway. I don't know that I'd have any of their more sensitive data in the lower
let's go
reaches
then.
here.
And presses the door open button.
I think as you go to access this elevator, there's like a touch screen interface there, and it's asking you to select what floor you want to go to. And you can see immediately that like floors 1 through 4 are like big green friendly buttons, and 5 through 20 are grayed out and seem like you would need to maybe have some sort of clearance here.
I have an ability called Astral Intake.
Mm-hmm.
Roll to pull a unique item from the multiverse, like antitoxin, an alien life form, or the exact key card you need.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Let's get that roll.
All right. Chill's always rolling with 2. Let's see how this goes. Actually, can I take a hype?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yes, take hype.
Let's not
Take a hype,
half-ass
take a
this. We'll take as many die and dice as you need.
All right. That's a 5. That's double 5s.
Ooh, mark your style. That's a mixed success right there. So you reach into your bag, and with the successful part of this mixed success, you are able to procure a key card emblazoned with the Miper logo. You tap it against the surface of the interface here, and suddenly those grayed out floors go from gray to green. You are able to access whatever floor you need to go to. I think you still don't necessarily know exactly where everything is, but like you can probably make some educated guesses as to where you might find what you're looking for. The mixed part of this success, I think, has got to be just that PAL robot. You've had to sort of come out from around the corner in order to access, like you were able to see the elevator from the catwalk. It stands to reason that you are now somewhat exposed, and you see this thing, see the group of you, see Elliott reaching into the backpack and pulling out the key card, and the holographic face does that same thing where it like glitches, flickers, look of concern, and then it disappears entirely. And this like friendly looking humanoid robot, it's sort of like its whole chassis sort of rotates and flips back on itself and goes from being like bipedal to like the arms fold back and up and around, and it's now on all fours. And you have triggered this personal assistance liaison bot has transformed into a predatory assault legion bot. PAL has 2 meanings.
Oh my god.
And you see it start making its way towards you.
Go.
Boop the card, boop the card, boop the card.
Yep.
Yeah, what floor are you saying you're going to?
20.
Yeah, she's got to be on the top floor, right?
Oh, we're going right to Tristan right first?
Do you have a better idea?
Where'd you want to
Quick.
go, Nick?
I don't know. Unlucky 13.
Love it. Smashes 13.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, you can probably assume that Tristan's going to be on a higher, or if not the highest floor. But you've also got this robot hot on your trail that you may want to lose and not lead directly to Tristan's. I don't want to tell you your business. So you mash the big 13. The elevator arrives, and you're able to slip inside and hit the door close button just in time. You see this thing like skittering towards you on all fours at an uncomfortable and like alarming speed, but the door is closed, and like you see that it reaches out a single robotic appendage, but the door is closed just in time, and the fingers don't make it through, and the elevator begins to ascend.
That was a close one.
Robo, yikes, gang. That was close.
Great progress, team.
I'm basically hoping to do that same thing with her phone. I don't know if it'll work, but
Oh, just like pull it out of her purse through your purse?
Yeah, basically.
Actually, that might be really handy, but both for acquiring the device and also maybe causing some sort of distraction for Tristan to leave her office. She realizes the phone isn't there. She might be drawn out to look for it.
I was actually gonna, after the other one, does it work the other way? Is it reversible? Can you put it back without anyone noticing?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Can you put a specific item into the universe? I mean, once you're holding an item, it becomes specific.
I feel like you would need another Voidware backpack for that.
And with that, the elevator dings and opens onto floor 13.
I think as Nick steps out of the elevator onto the 13th floor, he starts pulling off the doorway's hoodie. These are really great, Elliott, but at this point, I think that robot's probably on the lookout for 3 doorways teens now.
Oh, I hope they gank someone on the tour. That'd be hilarious.
You exit out onto this floor, and I think you're all like a little cautious because you know there was a doorways group and there was a security robot, and everyone's kind of been on high alert since you've gotten here. The floor you exit out on, there are a lot of people here, but none of them are paying you any mind. The elevator opens up onto what is essentially a maze of workstations, like cubicles, but rather than like little wall dividers separating sit-down desks, you see a bunch of employees standing within like 3-dimensional 360-degree hollow displays. So each of them has their own little square of floor, and around them is like Minority Report style floating computer imagery, and they're all like moving their hands and swiping and scrolling at their standing hollow desks. And you get the sense that all of them are sort of wrapped up in their work and don't really care that you're here. They're all doing their own thing.
Is it just like images floating around them, or are they standing in space and they all have like VR rig headsets on?
I think it is like you can see the images as well. Like no headset required. It is all like floating holograms.
Is there anything as we've come out in this entry area, like written on the walls, sort of describing what this floor might be, or any sort of like directories, or like these offices can be found on this floor, kind of things?
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah. So you guys are on floor 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do find exactly that, a directory that you can browse through here next to the elevator. There's 20 floors worth of stuff. You see, one floor is labeled that it's full of nap pods where employees can enter hypersleep. You see one of them says that it's a recreation area with a 0G trampoline park. You see the courtyard with the interdimensional portal-based restaurant. There's one floor that is a dodecagonal platform specifically constructed so that it can have more corner offices. It's all corner offices because there's more corners than you would normally have. The floor you're on, I think, is just like a general workspace. I don't know. I don't work in office jobs. I'm trying to think of like what would you call like the area with all the cubicles? It's
the bullpen.
Sure, it's the bullpen. I like that. And I think you confirm your suspicion that, yes, Tristan's office is on the 20th floor. There are presumably a bunch of others, because I don't think I said 20 things just now. So is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Records?
Yeah, archives.
Ooh, archives, records. Yeah. Yeah, they're on... hang on, I'm going to grab a D20. Because we said there were 20 floors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, come on, 13. Lucky
15th
number
floor.
13. Oh.
15th floor, 2 floors up.
Okay.
Nick, it's your call. Do we want to hit records or do we want to go right to Tristan? But I definitely think the jumping off on 13 was a great way to shake that weird robot.
I think behind you see that the elevator you stepped out of, like, you went from floor 3 up to 13. I think that the elevator closes behind you and you see the number above it, descend 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And then start ascending back up.
Let's take the stairs.
Yeah. Even if there weren't stairs going beyond the lower floors to here, surely these ones will still connect to some degree. We can probably get up 2 flights.
If there's stairs, I'm down. I just don't know where they are.
I'll give you that there's stairs. I think they're on the far side of the office here, so you're just going to have to make your way through these workstations.
Can we hoverboard through the workstations?
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought you were asking your teammates, but you're asking me? Yeah, you got my permission.
And so did you say we can see them across the way?
Yeah.
Then I think Nick is just going to try and teleport us all the way across to those stairs.
Oh, dope. Yeah, that's gonna require a roll, but if you're successful, you'll put some distance between you and this pal bot for sure.
So yeah, Nick is going to try to use his slip rattle to teleport all of us over there. And I think I'm going to throw on one of my smarts kick as well as one from my device. And I will take a dare here. I'm going to mark a trouble to take a dare. And because of double dare, I'll get 2 extra d6 on that. Where are we at with hype dice at this point?
I think we have 1 left.
Gotcha. If it's all right, I will use that last one as well. So I'll be rolling 4d6 with 2 kick. And I want to try and look cool on this, I think. So I will roll that now. Double 6s.
Beautiful.
I think Nick, classically, he's got to yell something out. He's not going to do it super loud because they're trying to be a little sneaky at least. But he's just going to very quietly yell, Negatana 5th form, Kinetic Flurry, Multi-Rattle Rift. And with that, Kinetic Flurry is the one where he usually does a bunch of quick slashes. And this one will cut 3 perfect little slip rattle holes for all of them to jump through.
Beautiful. You do that, you leap through these slip rattle portals and emerge at the stairs, and you're able to duck in. You see the elevator ding. I think maybe you close the door behind you, but it's got one of those the tall, skinny rectangular window that stairwells have. It's got one of those. And you're able to see that PAL robot exit the elevator, scan back and forth, doesn't seem to see what it's looking for, and then just begins sort of skittering its way through the maze of cubicles looking for you guys. But you're already in the stairwell.
Great move, Nick. That was quick thinking.
And not a moment too soon. We just barely got away from that. Did its chest say PAL? Did it just say PAL on there?
Yeah, I wonder what it's an acronym for.
Personal ass liquor.
I would have said pretty amateur lackey, but yours is ruder, so I think that's a better insult.
Jesus Christ!
That is an actual acronym from my childhood. You're all welcome.
Wow. Boy. And with that, I guess we cut over to Dimension. Our heroes make their way up to the 15th floor record room, and we're going to cut over to Dimension M, baby. Angus and Chester, you've hacked the system. You've accelerated your surroundings into a reality channel surfing nightmare. You have a line on the exit. You've glimpsed where you need to go. There are still 2 robots in your way. There are still 2 letters left on your progress track. What's the play? Oh, and there's a ticking clock. There's a self-destruct sequence that's been initiated. So. Make it a good play, because every failure gets you 1 step closer to destruction. No pressure.
Oh, we gotta move. And Angus runs and grabs his hoverboard and is gonna get ready to teleport.
Chester, in this moment, because, we've all had montages, but that's from our perspective as players, taking in. But Chester, this is the first time he's witnessed a montage that's not been in a movie. Mm-hmm. But Chester, somehow, in the core of his being, feels at home, Mm-hmm. And is able to kind of ignore it all. A little bit of it's this hyper focus, and he realizes this is constant. That robot's constant. This robot's constant. The exit's constant. So he's able to kind of ignore all the montage. So he's just going to run forward, kind of as each different reality comes into play, interacts with it. So it turns into the all water space of Desneen, I believe that was.
Yeah.
And swims through it for a split second before he starts running, and then he there's a moment where it's that ribbon dimension as it's like kind of twisting around, and then it flips to another one, and he's just kind of interacting with each one independently, and he's grappling with it, and he's just going to fight the two of them. I'm going to add some kick on this. This is going to be from his grit. He's going to fight his way through this. I'm going to use an extra die from grit as well. So I got 2d6, and I'm going to use the kick to kind of finish off the track. Is the hope. I get a 5.
All right. That marks the last 2 spots on your progress track, so you are both going to make it out of this simulation. That's not going to mark your danger track, because it's a mixed success and not an outright failure. However, it isn't going to end your danger track either. That is going to persist as you move through this dimension. You have triggered a process here that is not contained to this room, so you now have a ticking clock hanging over your entire operation here. You need to not just escape the simulation, but escape this entire dimension before the destruct sequence finishes. However, you've still got all 4 letters of boom to go. You haven't rolled a complete failure yet, so we're okay. Chester, you are going to get a complication here. And I think that complication just comes in the form of a slam. As you said, you're in touch with the flow of this space. You somehow just innately feel at home in this montage. You're dodging and weaving. You're running across a castle parapet in the waking pits, and then you take a leap just as it flickers and shifts to a lake of fire underneath your feet, but you clear it, and you're moving along. But at some point along here, I think one of these robots gets a piece of you. I think as you're running towards the big humanoid one, like you're getting ready to give it a big old Chester wallop to the face, and instead it reaches out one arm and kind of drops a little panel down and creates this sort of circular, like it almost looks like a net or something. It's an opening, and it looks familiar. You realize what it's reminding you of is the mouth of Elliott's voidware backpack when you look at it, and it kind of looks like it's like leading somewhere, like it's the space on the inside of it's bigger than the space on the outside of it. As you go to wall up this thing, it instead scoops you through this portal it has created, and that is the one and only time that you are not able to navigate the terrain here. Maybe this is while it's in Calorium, and it just like it warps you across the room to another point, and you're caught in a geyser spray and singed.
Oh, and then I get spit out in a different part of the room?
Exactly, yeah. Just like warped you to another area, and you're once again able to like get your bearings quickly, but not without taking a spray of sparks from a fiery geyser. And we're gonna give you the slam of singed.
Well, you know what? I would like to just push right through that if I could. It's
Fair.
Once per run. I ignore slams such as exhausted, haggard, poisoned, sickened. You know, I feel singed is in that realm.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You dodge effortlessly around this geyser, and immediately get your bearings back, and resume your run here. And I think in navigating this terrain and fighting these robots, you not only make your way to the exit, but you like clear a path for Angus as well, because you did wipe out the entire track. So Angus, if you're following along here, you've got a straight shot to the exit as well.
Yeah, he just hoverboard right on through then.
Sweet. We get this beautiful shot of you like hoverboarding in a line as the environment around you goes from open pink sky to glitched out logic mess to fun-looking beach party to grimy skyscraper pedway, but Angus is just on a constant path. Little by little, you work your way through, and one way or another, you both find yourselves at the exit to this room. You have successfully cleared the progress track.
Hooray!
You did it.
Chester gives a high five to Angus as we then proceed on into the next room.
Yeah, high five.
High five!
You emerge from the simulation out into a room full of various computer terminals. It's very dimly lit, and you don't see any people around. You get the sense that wherever you are here might be largely, if not fully, automated. And you do still see like you navigated your way through the simulation, but you didn't actually destroy those robots, so they are still like on your trail here. Yeah, I'm curious. Do you want to try to take them out? Do you want to secure the door behind you? Do you want to make a run for it? What's the next move?
Ooh. I have a thought for how to potentially deal with these robots.
Yeah.
Because we have established that Angus has been traveling in a straight line from this simulation room into the other room through the doorway.
Yes.
I am assuming that these robots are following Angus in this straight line.
Sure.
I am wondering if I can use my causality hoop to skip back in time a few seconds, redirect them, because if Angus goes back in time, he's going to know what flickers next, and see if he can redirect them just as the dimensions shift so they just fall off a cliff or something.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
How does give me the text of that ability?
Causality hoop, Mark 1 boost. You can roll to skip back in time a few seconds to retry an action or warn someone of a slam, in which case I'm not really retrying an action so much as retroactively injecting an action.
Yes, no, this is perfect. So, like, you're making it out of the simulation in one way or another. This is not going to, like, cause you to not be able to escape, but it is going to allow you to try and deal with this threat. If you are unsuccessful in this roll, I mean, if you're really unsuccessful, you might mark the danger track. You are still going to maybe have some robots to deal with, but if you're successful, you might completely take out these two bots that are pursuing you. Yeah, beautiful use of this ability. I love it. Let's get a roll.
Okay. I am going to take a dare. I'm marking a trouble. I'm going to get 2d6 because I also have double dare. It was originally a guts ability.
Ew.
Hey. And, man, it's too good to not look cool. Like, when I attempt to look cool, I get to refill a boost, even if I fail, and I get 1d6 for looking cool. How can I not look cool, fam? How can I not?
That's fair.
I got a 6.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You can tell me how this dispatches these two robots. You have the entirety of the multiverse at your disposal here. They are technically still within the confines of a physical room, so I feel like falling off a cliff maybe doesn't make a ton of sense just because, like, where did they go? But if you want to tell me how they get smashed, melted, zapped, etc., yeah, your complete success. Or let me know if you want me to narrate it.
No, I got this. I'm going to come up with something real good. You had described this as basically an empty room with pillars as, like, the only other real, like, feature of the room, right?
Like pillars, platforms, you get the sense that maybe stuff can, like, come out of the walls or the floor if it needs to simulate different terrain. Like, it looks like it's all very, like, movable and adaptable. Yeah.
So the first time that Angus went through in a straight line, I think at the very end, it was Vestige into Desneen. And so he was coasting through the pink sand dunes, and then Desneen, sort of the water kind of came in on either side and just, like, closed in just as he went through the doorway. So on his repeat, he veers off to one side and goes up an incline in this room that now, as the dimension of Vestige, looks like the overpass. And he can even see the other side of this crumbled overpass. And he's hoverboarding. He can't help it. This is the looking cool. Just like on their very first run, he ollies up, pulls his hoverboard out, starts running. They're following him up. At the very last moment, he uses his midsoles and bolts to the side and basically bails off the side of this overpass. The robots carry on just as it flickers to Desneen, and they crash into the side of a giant dodecapus.
Oh, yes. A tentacle comes lashing out and grabs them and just begins to squeeze. And you can see them sort of like different little paraphernalia popping out of panels on the sides of the robots as they try to do, use some cool trick against, like, can they use a reality cannon ability or a backpack ability or any of those, and it does. The dodecapus just squeezes them and crushes them until they both power down. Beautiful. I love it.
And Angus goes drops down, brings his hoverboard back underneath him, and skates on through the doorway.
Beautiful. You make it out the other side, and I think, as described a moment ago, you find yourself in a room full of computer consoles, dimly lit, no one around to speak of. And just as it maybe dawns on you of like, okay, where do we even begin to look? You notice a big reinforced door labeled Vault. The High Forester lies in a heap, his robes scorched and singed. He tries to pick himself up, to get back on his feet and continue the fight, but his muscles scream out in protest. He looks out across the carnage. His order is more than a match for these Miper machines, but there are only so many arborists, and the machines just keep coming. The phase dragon twists through the sky, enveloping the entire battle, unleashing beams of white-hot plasma, and swooping down with lightning speed to devour its unsuspecting victims. The great glass ring, once nearly invisible, is now cracked and scorched, melted and warped, and streaked with blood and oil. Little by little, the tide of the battle has turned, and the High Forester lets out a long, painful sigh as realization dawns on him. Miper is going to win. Suddenly, a furious cry echoes out from behind him, and the High Forester turns just in time to see a young, copper-skinned Thenis Spartian emerging from a portal wearing a tattered denim vest and intimidating combat boots, riding atop a hoverboard. She raises her gravity beam and fires at the surface of the ring, using it as an anchor point to swing out and launch herself upwards, hurtling through the lack of atmosphere. She slams into the side of the phase dragon, barely keeping her footing, but somehow managing to grind along the ridges of its serpentine back towards its head. She flips a switch on the side of the cannon and levels it at the blinking Miper hardware lodged in the dragon's skull. With one shot, she obliterates it, sending out a shower of sparks. The dragon reacts immediately, whipping its head around towards the Miper portal and begins charging up another ionized blast. Savitri lets out a cheer as she ramps off the skull and hurtles back toward the ring, directly into a crowd of Miper robots, firing wildly with her gravity beam and her ray gun. The High Forester smiles and slowly rises to his feet. The battle isn't over yet. So Lake, Nick, and Elliott, you've successfully lost your the security robot that was on your tail, and you've made your way up to the 15th floor through the stairwell, and you emerge into the records floor, the archive. I don't know what you were expecting to find here, if it, rows of file cabinets or bookshelves or what. But what you see when you emerge from the stairwell is just rows and rows of servers. And you realize that a lot of Miper's archive, maybe all of Miper's archive, is digital. They're too cutting edge to keep paper records in boxes or anything. It's rows upon rows of servers in here, but you do see at the far end a floating silver orb, which you may recognize from previous trips to Miper headquarters or from your time at the Miper-sponsored Multipalooza. You see just a floating silver featureless orb that, as you exit the stairwell, kind of rotates up and perks up a little bit and is like, "Oh, yes, can I help you with something?"
Nick sort of starts taking a few steps forward away from the other two, and as he begins to reach for his negatana in its sheath, he begins to speak, and his voice almost takes on a bit of a weird reverb as he speaks out, "Negatana 10th form, subdimensional slice."
Ooh.
And I want to try and use a new ability of mine, Subdimensional Edge. You can roll to temporarily slice entire dimensions off of a target, such as turning a 3D object 2D.
Okay, let's go.
Turning this orb into just like a flat disc on the ground, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, with that, I am going to... You know what? I think I am going to mark Trouble to take another dare. And with Double Dare, that's a good old way to generate some dice, folks. It's a good way to do it. Game the game. And I will add another die just from my boost pool for the sword, so I will be rolling 4d6. And I haven't actually rolled it. Can I throw a kick on there as well? Is that all right?
Sure, yeah.
make it more like.
I was gonna, like,
How
is
many
there something you're
dimensions?
trying to attempt with the achieve with the kick?
Yes. Do you want me to say that now or after I
No,
roll?
no. You can save it.
Okay. There's a 6 in there.
Yes.
So this thing is floating lazily towards you, like, I'll just need you to boop your key card, and then I can help you with whatever you should happen
Nick,
to need. But-
draws the blade from its sheath vertically past his face, and as he finishes speaking, just does a big one-armed swing directly straight down in front of it, and a weird wave of almost, like, really deep red energy pulses out in the form of a slash, hits this thing, and it just flattens and falls to the ground like a disc, and just sort of does, like, the wobbling.
like a hubcap. Yeah.
Yes. And with that kick, I was hoping that if it had any sort of access port to it, that would still be accessible, even though the rest of it is flattened into 2 dimensions.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think this is how we're going to play it, because your ability specifically states that the target recoheres after a minute or 2. It's not pleasant, but mostly harmless.
Yes.
So I don't think this, like, it doesn't, crush all the workings of the robot or anything. It just, you've sliced off 1 dimension of its reality, and it is now 2-dimensional. So yeah, it's laying on the ground, and you can see that there is, I don't know how exactly, like, can you plug a cable into a 2-dimensional
That's
port?
why I was like, based on the kick, the port would stay
Yeah.
3-dimensional.
I see.
Can I offer it? Maybe it like so the port would have been on some part of the surface, and then when you squish it to a disc, the port is still sticking out the end of the disc, almost like a whoopee cushion's.
Oh,
I
I
just
see.
managed
Yeah.
to take away the dimension at the right angle that still stuck out.
I
Yeah,
love
or like
that.
like a balloon hole.
Yeah.
That you
Perfect.
flatten out a balloon.
Yes, that is exactly what happens. It's a complete success, so yeah, everything you want to happen happens there. I do think that while you're doing this, you still hear the sound of this orb being like, well, that was not necessary. I just needed you to boop your card. I don't know what happened. And it's just going to continue to, like, mumble. It can't, like, move or do anything. You have complete access to it, but it's not going to be quiet and cooperative about it.
Nick continues walking over, picks up this now disc orb from the ground, and plugs in that remote access bit that he had talked about to Juniper before. And I think did we have any sort of communication with Juniper? Would I just have to call her?
Yeah, I think just your M phone would be the way to communicate.
He pops out the M phone, calls up Juniper, and he's just like, "Hi, Juniper, I've linked you in. I need you to start making a search now."
As you do that, Lake sort of slaps Elliott on the shoulder and is like a tap, and it's just like, "Oh, I see. He was trying to expose the port. That makes sense. I thought he was gonna fight that thing. That was weird, but that makes sense."
The orb would the disc would disagree, but that's okay. Juniper on the other line is like, just give me a second here.
We might not have a second, Juniper. This thing's going to recohere in who knows how long. I need the search.
So you've plugged in a receiver that is now connected to her console, which is your dad's old laptop.
Yes.
I'm understanding that correctly. Perfect. Okay. I'm online here. What am I searching for?
My dad, Juniper.
What's his name?
Andrew Lowe.
Yeah, okay. And you hear, like, clacking on the keys. All right, let me just, okay. Let me...
Come on, it's gotta be
Try
there.
it.
Come on, something.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sorry.
She'll find it. And like Lake puts her hand on Nick's back, and I think Juniper's looking for this just to can tell. I don't think I've ever heard Nick use that tone. Is going to use this opportunity to do a pep talk, and it's going to fill the team hype dice, but it's going to be to Nick specifically. Nick, you're crushing it. We're gonna get it. Look how far we've come. No time to lose our cool now, pal.
I know, but this might be the only chance, and we've come so far.
Breathe, Nick. Breathe.
Juniper, is there anything?
Yeah. Sorry. The whole name didn't bring anything up, but I tried searching them separately because I didn't want to disappoint you, and there was a hit for Lowe. There was a few hits, some unrelated results I had to parse through. There's some employees that you share a last name with. There's some misspellings in like
Yes, but
communications.
what's the hit? What do you think is the hit?
It's not your dad's name, it's your mom's. It's a receipt for a payment made out to your mom from Miper. Nick, it's $10,000. It doesn't say what it's for. I'm sorry, that's all it's just the receipt. There's no context.
What? Can you send me the file? Can you?
Yeah, I'll what do we call it when we use my page to message? I'll Mipe it to you. And yeah, you get a notification on your phone, and you can see there the receipt, and that's exactly like Juniper said.
But this doesn't make any sense. Why would there's no other files? There's no. They didn't find his research. There wasn't anything about Miper trying to. They weren't surveilling him. They weren't. I thought this was gonna give me something. I thought I was gonna find a lead here.
Nick, you're a smart guy. Do you think maybe you can extrapolate what this might mean? Whatever happened to your dad, your mom got compensated for.
What am I supposed to figure out from this, Lake? It's a receipt for an insane amount of money, and for my mom. And we just live in an apartment in Hillview, and this was supposed to be something about my dad. I thought I'd be able to find him with this. I thought maybe he'd still be there, and
Well, we're not done looking yet, friend. This isn't nothing. Thank you, Juniper, she sort of says, like, into the phone. But we're not out of the woods yet. Maybe there's more answers with Tristan Voss.
Nick slides the phone shut, tosses the disc across the room, and just sort of slumps to his knees.
Without saying anything, Elliott crouches down next to him and gives him a hug.
I think you have this quiet moment together here, just supporting your friend in a moment of doubt and confusion. And then you hear a voice echo out from behind you saying, "Oh no, you're definitely not out of the woods yet." And you all turn to see the open elevator door at the far end of the room, and standing in it is that Miper employee from 2 floors down, flanked by 2 pal bots on all fours that begin to advance towards you.